Hey guys, I bet you will never make Afang soup any other way after watching this video. Let's cook Afang soup like the Calabar people. So guys, here I have periwinkle, I have water leaf oil, my proteins has already been cooked, I have my crayfish, I have my Afang, the star ingredient of the day, and I have my fresh pepper, I have oil, I have seasoning cubes, salt, and all whatnot. So with my protein combination, I have chicken, I have stockfish, I have Kpanla fish, I have kanda, and I have goat meat. Yes, I'm using five different protein for the soup. And what you want to note about this soup is that when you're making it, you want your afang and your water leaf to have a ratio. Yes, there's a ratio to your afang to your water leaf, okay, of your afang to your water leaf. So that is the first thing you need to note. And you also need to note that this soup is cooked with broth and not stock, okay. So the difference between broth and stock is that broth is a thick flavorful liquid that you have as in after boiling your protein, while stock is, that water, enough water that you have after cooking your meat. So broth is usually very small and thick, while stock is larger and kind of watery. Now you want to go in with your crayfish, and like I mentioned that your afang and water leaf has a ratio, and the ratio is 60% of afang to 40% of water leaf. So this is me showing you what a broth looks like. So that is what you want to use while making afang soup, because if you use stock, if you have too much liquid, the water leaf has so much liquid, and when you introduce your water leaf, it is going to release its own water and juice, and then your soup will be watery, and you don't want that, okay. So immediately after adding my crayfish, I went in with the first batch of my palm oil. I'll be adding palm oil in so many batches, so you can eyeball it, or you can also do what I am doing, because I don't want to have so much palm oil in this soup. We are making it as healthy as possible while still retaining the flavor, the juice, and everything. This soup is so rich and it is so yummy. So I want it to be the next soup you want to consider to cook. It is one of the Nigerian soups that trends, and good thing it is from Calabar, okay? It's from the Efik people, okay? So while you make the soup, you can just vibe on one of the songs from the Efik, to make you feel at home. So next, I went into seasoning my soup. Already my meat stock or my meat is already seasoned, but now I'm making the soup proper. So I had to add extra seasoning cubes and salt, okay? While you're also at this, you want to make sure that you taste as you go, and you also want to eyeball your seasoning powder, your seasoning cube, your whatever you're using to season. But for me, I use just Maggi and salt, and it is there. It's my fresh pepper, and it is there. Then I went in with my periwinkle at this point, and note that my periwinkle has already been pre-cooked. By pre-cooking, I mean just boiling it, wash it, pour it into a pot, and then boil it until it gets to boiling point. Bring it down and sieve the water. Your periwinkle is ready. Add a little salt while on that, okay? So now I am putting it inside this place. Just allow it to simmer and absorb some more flavor from this broth, okay? So I'm just going to cover this up and allow it to boil, just to, simmer, not actually to boil, to simmer for less than 5 minutes, and I'll continue cooking my soup. Mind you that if you make afang soup like this, you are not ever going to make it any other way. In time past, the problem I have with making afang soup is that whenever I make it, I have to have something else at home that I can just eat and then start eating the afang the next day. But this recipe, I made it immediately and I could immediately eat it. And that is because of how I prepped my water leaf. You want to cut your water leaf a night before the day you cook this afang soup, okay? So this water leaf was cut the previous night before the morning I started cooking the soup. Then after cutting it, you put it in a sieve, just like you saw in this video. Put it in a sieve. Don't wash it. If you wash it, you're your own. Oh. So you can just put it in a sieve or you spread it on a tray. Leave it to sit on your kitchen counter overnight. Then the next morning you can start prepping and cooking your soup. By doing this water leaf will also wilt, and then when you wash it, it's like literally after washing it, then also put it in a sieve and allow it to sit for another 1 or 2 hours. All the water will drain out and it will not be so watery, and it will be, oh, I don't know how to explain this, but just do it like this. Do it like this. And normally it's difficult to cook afang soup and enjoy it that same day. But with this recipe, you can cook your afang soup now and you can start enjoying it now. So immediately after pouring this water leaf in, you want to stir very very well, just like I am doing in this video. I stirred it a little bit more. The stick was not giving me what I wanted. It wasn't turning it down, so I had to change to this spoon. Okay, so after stirring this, I would go in with my afang. Okay, I will go in with my afang. So you want to be very generous while you're doing this. You want to stir this very very well, because you don't want your ingredients to be trapped beneath the pot. So you want to do this generously. Okay, take your time, but don't be too slow. Okay, don't be too slow, because you don't want your water leaf to overwilt. Okay, you want it to still retain its freshness and juiciness while you are cooking your soup. And then you're going to go in with your afang leaves. Okay, you want to go in with your afang leaves, and remember the percentage I gave you. 60% of afang and 40% of water leaf will make you a perfect afang soup. Okay, so I noticed that my soup is very dry here, so I had to add in water. So it's better for you to need water and add in water than for you to use excess meat stock and then end up with a watery soup, because unlike any other soup, you cannot just say you want to allow this soup to dry out. No, the more you cook, the more your vegetables wilt, and you don't want that. Okay, you don't even want that at all. So I went in with more palm oil. Like I said, I'll be adding my palm oil in different batch as I go. Okay, afang soup takes up so much palm oil, but we are also going to gauge this properly just to make it healthy for consumption. Okay, then I tasted and I added more seasoning cubes and then extra palm oil to this soup. Okay, you can see that the soup is already coming together in one piece in its glory. And then I went in with my crayfish, and I also went in with my fresh pepper. And remember that I've also added fresh pepper before while boiling my meat. So you want to like gauge this so that it's not too hot because of the children. So you want to gauge this properly. And then at this point I added my Kpanla fish, and that is it. The soup is already on its way to glory. So you're just going to stay to mix this all up, so you can keep testing and adjusting your seasoning until you get to the taste you want. So this is it, guys. Bye.